I've said this before, Telugu cinema is not just about those big, massive films. Apart from those, also, they can create some gems, which may be small in size, but they still go for that big impact. And today we'll talk about two such films that came out in 2025. Let's go. Hello guys, I'm Nona and today we'll be talking and analyzing two Telugu films, Court, State vs. a Nobody, and Kubera. Both the films are now streaming on OTT, and I can say both films are not perfect. They have their own flaws, but both of them are complete films, and we'll try to understand what that means. Now for me, the major disconnect with both the films was the approach to the storytelling, which I felt was very basic, very rudimentary. Both films didn't leave anything unsaid. The story, the plot was over-explained. In both the films, there's no layering of the plot where you unravel and find different plot points. Those reveals that create tension, create conflict. With the screenplay, everything is just laid out for the audience. It's not actually making the audience work for it. Let's take the analogy of an exam. The more hard the question paper is, the more you have to think. You have to apply yourself. You can say the hardest question papers are the art films, which you don't have any clue what they are about. It's unsolvable sometimes. And for some, that's the whole fun about it. But then we have commercial films, which are more like an open exam, where you can refer to your books, you can refer your study material to answer each question. And then there are these two films where the question paper comes with the answers written with them. So you just have to read through it. That's it. Now it's not that there's something wrong with this way, because both the films worked really well. The audiences celebrated the films, they did really well at the box office. So that proves that even this way of storytelling can work. And I think what makes it clicks are the emotions. In this film, they carry it on the sleeves. The characters, their performances, they connect with the audiences. And thus this treatment is acceptable. So first let's talk about Court, directed by Ram Jagdish. It is a courtroom drama centered around the POCSO Act and how it is misused. It's about how people in the power misuse the system, how an innocent love story gets entangled in class prejudice. It talks about the patriarchal norms, the misogyny, how the justice is unserved to the underprivileged. And the film does a commendable job to showcase all of this with sensitivity. There's also a personal arc of a protagonist on how he should become a better lawyer. So if you look at it, it's a complete narrative. It has everything that is needed. Now there are, and I've seen many films with such themes, and the best ones leave you gut wrenched. They are dark, they are rooted, they are grounded, they show you the reality. And I am a very big sucker for a courtroom drama. It's one of my favorite genres. With the amount I have seen, I'll put this one in average, because for me it lacked those big impactful moments, those epic showdowns in the courtroom. It has one or two interesting exchanges, but nothing that really stands out. Like if I take example of really good courtroom drama, take Pink, take Jory LB, the first one. If you go to Hollywood, Few Good Men, The Trial of Chicago 7. If you've seen them, you'll know how they create tension in the courtroom, how it gets intense, how we go at moments where it feels like everything is lost, how the climax is so hard hitting. Each of this film you'll remember for some amazing performances. Now with Court, by the time we get to the drama of it, we already know everything that happened, that too in detail. There's not much left to be revealed later. There are very few conflicts, and it's very simple case to be solved. Just because it's a case of the POCSO Act, that's what makes it hard. But the film doesn't double down on it. There's one suspense moment about what happened behind closed doors, which is revealed in the climax, but it was not shocking, it was not something revealing. With not knowing that also, the case is easily solvable, because we know all the pieces, we know all the characters, where they stand. It's just about the right person to come and say it, and because of that it all becomes very predictable. So if the case cannot be very complicated, you can make getting the justice complicated by using the barriers of how corrupt the system is, the struggle an underprivileged family had to go through to get justice. But all of that is also done in broad strokes, and knowing that in reality how hard it is to get justice, watching this film it feels like it was a breeze. At the end you feel like, oh, it is just a film, and that's why it doesn't come at top with what I have seen in my life. But with Kubera, it's a totally different story, directed by Shekhar Kamula. Like this film is so overstuffed with so many things that it should not work. But because of the craft of the director, he makes it not just work, it makes it run, which is just an accomplishment. Just the concept of this film is so brilliant. A beggar is entangled in a multi-billion-dollar scam, and he becomes the key to exposing it. Only Telugu cinema could have come up with something like this and pull it off. Like technically the film is so well shot. They have gone to the real locations and shot there, and that adds to the immersion of the film. They use the authentic language wherever they are. If someone's supposed to speak Telugu, they are speaking in Telugu. If it's Hindi, Hindi. If it's English, English. And that's the case in the Telugu audio of the film. If you're watching in any other dub, I don't know how it's gonna be. But if you look at it, it's a pan-India film with the actors it has, with the languages, with the scale of the film, with its content, the costume, the makeup, the world building they have done is outstanding. And all this detailing is also present in the script, and they are quite bold with it. It's not really hard to create real life parallels. The way they portray how the corruption works at the top, and they go deep into it. They explain all of it step by step. How the businessmen and the politicians are hand in hand and gaming the system, cheating the public and just hoarding all the money they can. And we see how that trickles down to every level. If you're someone who don't play this game, if you're innocent, if you're righteous, then you'll be punished until you turn yourself on the other side. And the public, the poor especially, are just expendable. This film covers almost everything about a beggar's life. The racket that is run, the whole mafia, how the kids are taken away from orphanages, how they end up on the streets, the way they live. You can see all the research that has gone behind. And all of this is not just for the setup, they also utilize all of it in the plot. Deva, the beggar played by Dhanush, is a memory of an elephant. He doesn't forget things. And it makes sense because it's all about his survival. Each day of the week, he should know to which religious place he has to go because he'll get food. If you look at it, his religion is just food. Doesn't matter which faith brings it to him. He is not clean, he is uneducated, he doesn't have civil manners. But what he has is compassion for every living thing around him. He believes that life is to be lived, even if it's miserable as it is. And his that belief inspires the other characters. And all of this helps him on his extraordinary journey he takes. Now, if you compare that to the rich guy, he has everything but no compassion. And the middle guy is on the line. He tries to go selfish, but for how long? His consciousness comes back. So the way all these big ideas are intertwined with the plot is so well done. But it's the last 40 minutes of the film where the film makes a choice which I was not a big fan of. Now the choice is very apparent. It's not bad writing or bad direction. It's a straight away choice they had to make. They could have gone the organic way to see where this narrative goes with whatever they have established, but they wanted to make a point. They wanted to give a message. They wanted a lesson to be learned. And thus they abandoned the world, the characters, the logic in return to set up a big epic climax. And they break the film to achieve it. Now the ending of the film is interesting because they come back and show us that the cycle of corruption continues. Only the players are replaced. That nothing really changes. So maybe it's a happy ending for our characters, but for the world, it continues as it is. So the whole film doesn't come together and by the end leaves you with a bad taste. But what makes it worth are the performances. And what a cast we had. Dhanush, he just disappeared in his role. And until that last 40 minutes, I just loved his character throughout. Nagarjuna, very different side of him. I've not seen much of his performances, but I could tell he's delivering something special. I'm a big fan of Jim Sarb, and even though he has his one-note character, he adds his own gravitas to it. And the biggest surprise has to be Rashmika Mandanna. She just infused an exciting energy into the narrative. It has to be one of her finest performances I have seen. Kubera could have been one of the best Telugu films in recent times. It had that potential. But I'm still happy because the variety of films we get to watch from our country. Like every region has their own different and distinct styles. And there is no right and wrong. If it works, it works. And both these films work for a wide audiences. Unlike this one, might be written on the hit franchise and the latest installment. Check it out if you haven't. Let me know your thoughts about both these films in the comments below, and I will see you next time.